Draco radio on 1, signal check, echo. Diego Garcia, Roger, this is Draco radio.
Sometimes I think that order is only an illusion, and the universe is a vivid example of a clockwork mechanism assembled by chance, a house built by nobody. Perhaps order is only an illusion created by chaos, nomological deterministic chaos. The contingency and transparency of being on such a small scale of our lives, too small to see the holistic picture of doom, of being set, of being programmed. Our words betray us by endowing phenomena with a pseudo-intelligent meaning, relegating us to primitive thinking, the mindset of a self-centered consumer making a deal with nature. Love, faith, betrayal, the terminology of contracts, merchants, the narrow-minded chancery of peddlers. There is another bliss poetry, inventing absolute concepts according to the rule from the contrary. For example, unconditional love. People just don't see conditions other than the obvious benefits, like money and status. But would we love flowers if they didn't have scents and shapes pleasing to our senses? Would we love pets if they didn't cuddle at our hands and feet and bring comfort to our homes? Would we admire wild animals if they did not arouse in us an underlying envy of their grace, courage, and strength? Why do foster parents usually take the cutest or most obedient children from orphanages rather than the most wretched? Why do teachers give higher grades to students they find more attractive than others? Why can't we love whomever we want willingly? People cannot imagine that everything around them came into being just because it could come into being without purpose or meaning, without intelligent design. This and only this can provide a convincing explanation for the violence and injustice, the impunity, the cruelty and irrationality of our thoughts and actions. A maniac's knife is no different from a spring flood or an earthquake. Jealousy is the same lightning in a stormy sky, force, violence, hierarchy of forces, love, force, survival, vicious circle, and no super goal. Only sympathy, the most selfless of all human egoistic feelings, takes on new meaning in the light of a mind that longs to end injustice and evil, a mind approaching the consciousness of Buddha. And the ultimate embodiment of compassion must be all-consuming love, absolute, forgiving everyone and everything, carrying all being on its transcendent wave into a perfectly different new world, a world where there are no conditions, a world of absolute freedom. Is such a world possible if absolute freedom is achieved only in nothingness and death?
have more questions to ask. If you're curious about what I couldn't say, it's been noted that for some, this experience may be considered quite insightful, though on the flip side, it may be unnerving. Have you ever found a 4-leaf clover, slain a dragon, been dubbed a saint, immortalized in stone? Have you ever had an imaginary friend? Think on that a moment. What adventures did you go on together? Did you sail the high seas, conquer merchant vessels? Were you a barnacle on a ship? Do you believe in war? Do you have a favourite scent? Should we let sleeping dogs lie? Or would you rather sleep with the fishes? Has it been enough now? Have we been sold a fantasy? Were they lying to us? Have you been up to anything that you haven't had the chance to tell someone about? Must patients have a penchant for patience? How dense is emptiness? Am I talking to an adult or an old child? Are we capable of change? Should we find a more holistic way of living? What is the half-life of ill-gotten memories? I believe that that is the end of my curiosity.
Human loneliness is a catharsis that leads to the realization of the inferiority of existence and social contacts as such. This is the only way a person can achieve self-sufficiency. As we know, society is built on illusions. Social institutions define consciousness, forcing its nature with patriotism, duty, and other infernal nonsense, incubating potential cells of society in order to actively use them as cheap labor force in the future. Traditional morality preaches seemingly correct postulates about love, friendship, respect, which, in theory, should lead to world peace and universal happiness. However, the selfish nature of man cannot be eradicated, and this doctrine is akin to self-deception, for sooner or later it will disappear, leaving behind cognitive dissonance, disappointment in life, and mortal distrust of all living things. The subject nurtured by it is, in most cases, naive, non-self-sufficient, and dependent on society, a slave to general trends and dogmas. Blindly following the majority, there is no we, only millions of eyes. Faith always leads to disappointment. Love is deception. Friendship is mutual use. Good and evil are one and the same. All human beings are selfish and incapable of understanding. Seeking solace in them is a futile endeavor. It can only be found in yourself. You are your one true friend. You are your only source of support and love. You are the only thing that can satisfy your desires. You are the inexhaustible source of your own happiness.
Why those projects are never finished, why those stories are never finished, and it's because we're not finished. We're not done yet. We're just starting, and that was the beginning. So often life has a way of ending things. Sometimes we don't think we have choice. Sometimes that choice is taken away from us. But here we have that reminder that we're not finished yet. We're not done yet. So the reason those things aren't finished yet is because we're not finished.
Take a slow dive into the abyss, the animal's rough caress, a demon's hostile, fragile kiss. As a baby screams, makes the world dream, drowning below the firework red sky. Beneath the angel wings of night, you begin to scream, you begin to cry. Let the ashen trails crawl inside. Let your body begin to ache, while I make you wait. For another head kill, another shiver and shake. The fall becomes engorged in an earthquake. Hurry, hurry, you can't be late. Appointment sealed to conceal your fate. Obscure the reasons, and you are seasoned, because every day is winter. Go is shrinking, and one face is the mask of ATHENA. Release the leaves you are here to deceive.
I was a crushed cat in the driveway outside our house. My cellophane hulk pretended to be a cat so skillfully. I was the nightly shreds of a cocoon where the imago languished at night on the bark of a lonely tree. When the new day sprawls through the streets of the city, with the smell of fresh coffee and bread, sleepy booksellers, wine tasters and wind catchers, I'll be left outside a boutique, a rubbish bag. A bag with broken legs and a broken neck, with an old man's smile frozen forever in its black crease. They'll grab me by a scruff of the neck and take me to the landfill. Don't be afraid of that photograph that you took when I died, for it's not about death. It's about the way I was, how I was at my last moment, still so much like the living. Time has passed. I've seen it all. I've seen a lot of rains, and my hands underneath the earth have fallen free in the darkness, like cellophane. Don't be sad about anything. It's only the strange dance of nature, before life and after life, and it doesn't hurt. And all you see in me is not me, just a distant reflection of someone else's past fate. A lost glimmer of sunshine in the old neighborhood of your unaccustomed memory.
"3 days into antibiotics. Lined out to dry. Lungs on the rack, body on the countertop. Let me out of the abattoir. I'm not quite pieced back together yet. Still a little loopy. Well, more than the norm, at least. In smears of condensation, I can see penguins flapping through the window panes. There's a claw-hammered rabbit trailing behind with a journal, taking notes of the boy on the swing in the forest clearing. A great smile and bare toes plucking leaves from the canopy. I'm going to do a loop-de-loop. This is terribly dangerous. Where are your parents? The rabbit cried. But the penguin hopped upon the wild boy's lap, because they thought they might finally fly. As the great swing rose past the leaves and fell with the trees, the wild boy sprung forth a turbulent kick, to which the rabbit had mostly covered his eyes, and the penguin flew. The wild boy cheered, feet dancing through the foliage, until the penguin was all but gone. Yellowed sky. Mubarak. Tomb of an Afghan soldier. Sandstorm. Wind swept. Dust clouds. And Clara, trailing through the desert, her steps light, carried on the breeze. Dappled leaves drip feed an early morning light. Pigeons and doves, oil splattered, scrape claw and beak like speckled wrestlers. Featherweights, mottled. Late fall. Will you visit me in autumn? I'd like to see the colours change with you again. It's happened again. Things keep happening. Can't we all slow down? Slow down as the breeze blows. I've said that before. It might be one of my favourite lines. I'm not sure if it's from anywhere in particular. Just a phrase that's drifted in. I'm fortunate to have people that hold me. All that there is here and now. So why is your grip so tight? The rocks will come loose before you lose strength. Once again we travel, plain sailing on the train coach daydreams. Find your way on the way. Winding roads, don't twist me, don't stay, remain stable, unstable, shake me, awaken, tunnel through the light at the end of workers carrying girders, strong men, a strong man, a strong man, a father, one who has not allowed himself laughter. He sits at the table head, watching the children in the garden. Enjoys a cup of tea that's always a little too milky. No matter. Steam lifting the corners of his lips to smile at his patch of earth, his life, upon which a little life remember to water the flowers. Not too much. Only every other day or so. Don't be silly. They won't bite. Half in the shade and half in the light. The petals' gentle caress. Gnarled roots gurning. Branches connive. Dried wicker thrives, splinter and splinter. The colony lost its queen. Cellophane insists. They've tamed the land, cultured the dirt. Everywhere a fence, signs of life. Unfortunate. Spire, one bird, a plane. Further, the same size, sort of. White noise, impersonal roar, deadening incandescence of the boarding terminals, but even these soul-free, sealed-off places are drenched with meaning, spangled and thundering with it. Sky Mall, portable stereo systems, mirrored aisles of Dramby and Tankor and Chanel No. 5. I look at the blanked-out faces of the other passengers, hoisting their briefcases, their backpacks, shuffling to disembark. Beauty alters the grain of reality. And I keep thinking, too, of the more conventional wisdom, namely that the pursuit of pure beauty is a trap, a fast track to bitterness and sorrow, that beauty has to be wedded to something more meaningful. Only, what is that thing? Why am I made the way I am? Why do I care about all the wrong things and nothing at all for the right ones? Or, to tip it another way, how can I see so clearly that everything I love or care about is illusion, and yet, for me anyway, all that's worth living for lies in that charm? A great sorrow, and one that I am only beginning to understand. We don't get to choose our own hearts. We can't make ourselves want what's good for us, or what's good for other people. We don't get to choose the people we are. What if one happens to be possessed of a heart that can't be trusted? What if the heart, for its own unfathomable reasons, leads one willfully and in a cloud of unspeakable radiance away from health? White noise, impersonal roar, deadening incandescence of the boarding terminals, domesticity, civic responsibility, and strong social connections, and all the blandly held common virtues, and instead straight towards a beautiful flare of ruin, self-immolation, disaster. If your deepest self is singing and coaxing you straight toward the bonfire, is it better to turn away? Stop your ears with wax. Ignore all the perverse glory your heart is screaming at you. Set yourself on the course that will lead you dutifully towards the norm, reasonable hours and regular medical checkups, stable relationships and steady career advancement, all with the promise of being somehow a better person. Or is it better to throw yourself head first and laughing into the holy rage calling your name? A self one does not want, a heart one cannot help. Life is catastrophe. The basic fact of existence, of walking around trying to feed ourselves and find friends and whatever else we do, is catastrophe. The miracle of a newborn babe, the joy of one simple blossom, life you are too wonderful to grasp, etc. For me, and I'll keep repeating it doggedly till I die, till I fall over on my ungrateful nihilistic face and am too weak to say it. Better never born than born into this cesspool. Sinkhole of hospital beds, coffins, and broken hearts. No release, no appeal, no do-overs. No way forward but age and loss, and no way out but death.
Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
Je veux te raconter, ô molle enchanteresse, les diverses beautés qui barrent ta jeunesse. Je veux te peindre ta beauté, où l'enfant se salit à la maturité. Quand tu vas balayer en l'air de ta jupe large, tu fais l'effet d'un beau vaisseau qui prend le large. Chargé de toi, les vas roulants suivant un rythme doux et paresseux et lent. Sur ton cou large et rond, sur tes épaules grasses, ta tête se pavane avec d'étranges grâces. D'un air placide et triomphant, tu passes ton chemin majestueux enfant. Je veux te raconter, ô molle enchanteresse, les diverses beautés qui parent ta jeunesse. Je veux te peindre ta beauté, où l'enfant se salit à la maturité. Ta gorge qui s'avance et qui pousse la moire, ta gorge triomphante est une belle armoire, dont les panneaux bombent et éclairent comme les boucliers accrochent des éclairs. Boucliers provoquant armés de pointes roses, armoire à doux secrets, pleine de bonnes choses, de vin, de parfums, de liqueurs, qui ferait délirer les cerveaux et les cœurs. Tu vas balayer en l'air de ta jupe large, tu fais l'effet d'un beau vaisseau qui prend le large. Chargé de toi, les vas roulants suivant un rythme doux, paresseux et lent. Tes nobles jambes sous les volants qu'elles chassent tourmentent les désirs obscurs et les agacent, comme deux sorcières qui font tourner un filtre noir dans un vase profond. Tes bras qui se jouent et des précoces Hercules sont des boas luisants, les solides émus, pour serrer obstinément, comme pour l'imprimer dans ton cœur, ton amour. Sur ton cou, large et rond, sur tes épaules grasses, ta tête se pavane avec d'étranges grâces. D'un air placide et triomphant, tu passes ton chemin, majestueux enfant.
You have expressed feelings that perhaps I do not understand as well as I should, as well as I might, and as well as I would like. It is my objective to become closer on a personal level. However, in order to help you, I would ask that you help me. Perhaps we can look deeper into what is causing you the physical discomfort and any emotional distress you may be experiencing as well. With your permission, but only with your permission. I often wonder on a philosophical level if the mind meld wasn't developed as a technique to compensate for our overly logical senses and thought process. whenever I talk to humans, I am, for lack of a better word, envious of your ability to communicate how you are feeling. And not just that, but also to feel it as well.
Well, because for one, it teaches me a lot about myself that I didn't know, and it kind of informs me about my environment and what goes on. It tells me what I like. It makes everything a little unreal, you know, everything that is hallucinations project from my mind, and everything that I see is myself. I mean, it's all coming from my mind, and all the things that I see, everything that I see I'm making it all. I'm controlling what the scenery looks like about me. I'm not controlling it necessarily, but when it's happening, that's what's me. That's me happening. Because it brings out your inner feelings more intensely. I don't feel any rejection towards them. I used to be constantly thinking about being afraid of them, but now I don't have to be afraid anymore because they're all beautiful, and whether they reject me or not, they're still beautiful. They're dangerous, sure, but they're still beautiful. I found God, and made me feel quite good, you know, and my mother mistook this good feeling for taking drugs. They might have thought that I was a little crazy. Make other people feel the way I did, and that's what I was trying to do.
I would ask them that you clear your mind of all intrusive thought. Picture yourself in a meadow somewhere you remember, a place where you feel at peace, at comfort. Open your mind to me. My mind to your mind. My thoughts to your thoughts. Join me. Let me feel what you feel, so that I may better understand what you need. You may help me understand better who I am. I sense a longing in you, and a powerful feeling of powerlessness. It is a very raw feeling. There's a sadness. My mind to your mind. My thoughts to your thoughts. My feelings are your feelings. Do not fear. You are safe. I am going to let go now. You are always so happy and keen to provide for others, yet sometimes when we are stuck somewhere, an emotional space inside ourselves, sometimes it is important for us to take back control of small things. I think important to my improvement as a person. It is good to have you as a friend.